What's the biggest secret you have ever kept from your family? Story 1. When I was in the 7th grade, I started to get into porn, and my favorite, for some reason, was guy-on-guy stuff even though I'm a girl. Anyways, I didn't know how anything but YouTube worked, so I ended up downloading like 3 gay porn videos on my phone, and I had an Android, so when I deleted the videos, the download history was still in my phone. For some reason, my mom took my phone and went through it and sat me down and asked me about the porn she found on it. But for some more context, I had to keep my phone in the living room at night and could only have it during the day. Now, I'm not proud of this, but I'm a good liar. But in this situation, I didn't have to do much lying, because as soon as I started crying and saying I didn't do it, she immediately believed me and blamed it on my stepdad, saying that she had a suspicion that he was gay through their whole relationship and all that. After that, she never confronted him and just continued to stay with him even though she thought he was gay, and that's when I realized my mom was a gold digger. Story 2. I understand you were scared, and I am glad you were cleared. I probably would have done the same thing. However, that is the wrong thing to do. Kids out there, if you get accused of a serious crime, call your parents. Unless they are abusive or deadbeats, they will get a lawyer and move heaven and earth to keep you out of prison. Many cops are honest, some are not. They will use every trick they know to intimidate you into admitting to something illegal. It is very easy for them to manipulate kids, and they do not have your best interests in mind. Call your parents, get a lawyer, do not speak to the police alone. I guarantee that prison is worse than pissing off your parents. Edit. The comments below contain lots of good advice that I thought I should summarize here. The gist of it is this: if you get arrested, call a lawyer. Do not speak to the police at all unless the words are "I want a lawyer." Regardless of the quality or intentions of the police, they are smarter than you. They have been in this situation 1,000 times, and you have not. You will not outsmart them. They will not go easier on you if you try to help. Protect yourself, get a lawyer, say nothing else. Story 3. My dad is cheating on my mom. I have horrible sleeping patterns, but people think I'm asleep just because when I lay down for too long my mouth just opens, and when I close my eyes it looks like I sleep. I've been hearing my dad calling another woman every single night. My mom steals money from my dad and from me and my brother and badmouths my dad a lot of time, knowing I'm not good with confrontation and I'm very sensitive. At night I can hear them arguing, and in the morning they act like everything's great. They badmouth me and my brothers and talk about wanting a divorce, not wanting me and my brother, the cats, and hating each other, pointing out sensitive things and hitting each other. It started messing with my head a lot for the past couple years and had changed my reputation in school a lot. My friends told me I wasn't the same because I used to let them borrow all my things, follow them around, and wanted to be near them and would hug them a lot. They told me I was not hugging them at all, distancing myself, my grades got horrible, and always asked them to be left alone. I've lost a lot of friends and teachers who talked to me. I would open up, but they always said problems at home, stay at home, don't bring it to school. It upsets me a lot, and the only thing distracting me from all of this is with my older brother. I only watch a little bit of football, but I consider it my favorite sport. My older brother loves football and rabbles all the latest news to me, and I love it. I feel like I can trust him with my secrets. Not my best friend, mom, dad, teachers. We share a lot in common. He doesn't know about the mom and dad situation, but he's the only one who listens to me when I'm angry, sad, upset, disappointed, happy, with any topic: video games, sports, movie, books, a new fact I heard with topics of science, a mess fact I heard with topics of history, everything. Story 4. I'm not straight. Me and fiancé don't consider it cheating as long as it's same sex and with prior information to each other. I hate my parents and can't wait to leave. I haven't told them of the second time I was sexually assaulted by my best friend because I told them the first time and they only made me feel worse. The only reason I'm getting mentally healthier is because my therapist and fiancé have worked hard to help me learn that some things can't be fixed and need to be thrown away. My doctor is more excited about me being mentally stable enough to care for myself so I can pursue university in a place without family than my parents. My 11-year-old sister trusts me more than them, and one time cried telling me not to leave because she didn't want to be here alone with parents and youngest sister. She's been showing very obvious symptoms of anxiety and depression due to being bullied at school for the past few months, but if I try to tell my mom, she shuts me with she probably did something wrong and that's why she's scared. I can't do anything because I'm not her legal guardian, so I've been trying to teach her grounding techniques and tell her the things that work for me other than my meds. There's more, but even typing it makes me angry, so I'm done. Story 5. The first time I ever got high, I was with one of my best friends. It was often edible, and we were at my house and my parents were home. I made sure we stayed mostly upstairs and tried to be quiet. Things were going fine until I started seeing colors around us and they kept fighting each other. Mine was blue and hers was pink. But I was laying on my bed because I was no longer enjoying the high because I couldn't move and everything felt numb. She kept trying to do sexual stuff with me and I kept saying I was straight. I ended up not knowing it was real life because I was so high, and she fingered and ate me out even though I couldn't feel anything touching my body. She got upset that I had no reaction, but I couldn't move or speak and I didn't know that it was a dream. She tried leaving but didn't make it down the stairs for whatever reason and slept in the guest bedroom. She admitted to her boyfriend the next day that she cheated. She even took off my bra and everything without my consent or knowledge. I hate having to act like everything is okay, and if it ever got out I would die. I refused to go into detail about it with others, so I made this account to finally be able to tell someone. It happened this year too. It breaks me down because I said no. I didn't want it to happen and I can never forgive myself for letting it happen to me. Story 6. I don't think people are still reading it, but here it comes. When I was 18 I was a bit lost in regards to career, so I was going to a prep for SATs, but some friends had a band and they wanted to record a live demo. They arranged a clue, but they demanded $1,000 for precaution if they couldn't bring all the people for the show, as that is how they made money. So as I was the only one working and with a checkbook, I made the check and should get it back at the day of the show. But on the Saturday of that weekend, my baby sister, who had a sore throat for like 45 days with a high fever, was finally forwarded to an immunology doc and diagnosed with leukemia. I was a mess, but I had to go to the show and get that check. When I got home I found out they had left for the university hospital, an excellent opportunity for the treatment. But they had to wait in a corridor for 3 days to get an opening. Cause it was really hard to get the free and excellent treatment and they needed me, and hated me for choosing my friends. I still hate myself for that. She didn't make it and went without knowing she was the most precious thing in my life, and I miss her to my bones. It's been 16 years now, and no therapy could make it go away. Story 7. They don't know me at all. I act like a completely different person around them, and I don't hang around them longer than I have to in order to be polite. They're really nice people, they're just really nosy, and their advice bugs the shit out of me, so I just don't let them know about things that might warrant advice from them. Their advice is correct most of the time, and technically it would be safer to follow it, but I think I'm almost always much happier disregarding it. After they met my first girlfriend, they said that they liked her, but they pointed out all kinds of potential problems between us. They were basically trying to compress all of the potential points of tension between me and my girlfriend into the very beginning of our relationship so that I didn't waste my time. At first I tried addressing some of those issues, like they suggested, but it was getting kind of tense talking about them, and I didn't want to break up, so we kind of overlooked some things for a while. My parents ended up being fucking right, and we broke up when I moved away for university. I would have been so much happier with the relationship if we had just gone with the flow and seen where things went, rather than looking ahead and getting uncomfortable with the whole situation. They'd never let me make my own mistakes. Everything would always go perfectly, unless it didn't, but even then it would get fixed optimally. It was boring as hell, because anything I tried to do, all of my ambitions, either had an optimal set-in-stone method of being done that my parents already figured out, or taught me how to figure out, or it was impossible. Nothing was ever a fight, just logical steps, one at a time. It got to the point where I really just wanted to go live in some chaotic hell where nothing made sense and I could get away with letting myself suffer. So I did. University is fun. I screw up. I have anxiety. I have catharsis. I have fun. It's just easier not letting them know my motives. Sometimes I just want to wing it. Story 8. I started going to parties my sophomore year of high school. I used to smoke weed a lot back then and drink occasionally, which was much healthier than the years that would come. Just after graduation, I took a break from smoking pot to get a job at a sawmill. After a 2-month break, I tried to smoke again and it gave me insane anxiety and basically made me hate myself. I started to replace my daily smoking habit with daily drinking. At first, I'd drink maybe a few beers a couple times a week. Fast forward 6 months and I was getting fucked up till I passed out pretty much every night. This continued on from 19 to 23. I was unemployed living with my alcoholic dad at the time, and every time I got a new job I would miss it from staying up late, getting wasted, and being late to work. I'd even went and still drunk a few times and no one ever noticed. I always felt an emptiness when I was drinking, and my girlfriend of 4 years left me in the middle or 4-year alcoholic bender. No doubt in my mind I was depressed. Some of it still lingers to this day. The heavy drinking led to taking whatever drug I could get my hands on, including one that is known to kill that I shall not name. I have never told my mom or my girlfriend at the time of my heavy drinking and drug use cause I know it would break their hearts. I have considered admitting it to my mother, but I don't see the point seeing how I don't live that way anymore. My rock bottom was getting completely shit-faced, biking 2 miles to sell my Xbox 360 for $40 to buy another bottle of vodka. On my way back from completing the deal I was hauling ass down a big hill and lost my balance and got a handlebar to the groin, tearing my scrotum. I now know what a testicle actually looks like outside of the human body. I am now 25 and moved out of my dad's, working 2 jobs, and haven't drank since Christmas. That was the darkest, saddest point in my life, and no one really knows how bad it actually was, not even my closest friends. I hope I never go back. Thanks for anyone reading. I've never really told anyone about this in real life, so it felt good to just let it out to randos. Story 9. I never told this to a single soul, but it's about time. A long time ago, I wasn't suicidal but didn't want to live either, jumped into a frozen lake in Halifax, Nova Scotia. As far away from anybody, just in the middle of nowhere, the idea being because the ice is thick and I jumped from a high cliff, I squash and pretty die from cold. I jumped and ice broke, drowned and couldn't come back up. Super painful feeling in my ears and eyes. It was like being in fire, literally. About 1 minute or so everything went dark and woke up 1 hour later outside the lake and beside bonfire. Due to almost dying, I might have been hallucinating but saw something that looked like it was made out of glass. See-through glass, not reflecting but reflects a little when it moves, just enough to notice there is something there. Craziest part is I was sure no one beside me was near that place. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Nova Scotia, but for most parts it's deserted, so nobody could have even come across me. I laid there and watched whatever it was walk away. About 25 minutes later, my mom alongside the police came, and when I asked her how she knew I was here, she said that my friend called her and told her about the accident. She then added, "Your friend is an odd one, huh? He gave me coordinates instead of location name, like where is he?" I then lied and told her he probably left. You don't know him. When asked about what happened, I said we're hanging out at the cliff and I accidentally fell, and the police asked me how did my friend got me out without them drowning too, since there is only one broken hole on the ice. I said I don't know, and when asked to identify him I refused and faked a headache. Weirdest part is, Mom said my friend called from my phone, but I didn't even take my phone since I was sure I was gonna die. I came home a few days later and every step felt longer when I walking towards my desk where I left my phone. It was there, exactly like how I left it. I checked my call log and my mom was called. I fell to ground shaking and Mom came running alongside my dad. I said I tripped and never spoke of this till now, so enjoy Reddit. Story 10. When I was a kid, my mom told me I was allowed 2 hours of internet a day, and that included what I needed to have for homework. I was not allowed to go to the library and use their computers, internet for a longer period too. Now this was back in the days of dial-up. But ours was set to disconnect the internet if a phone call came in, so I didn't have to worry too much. We had the MSN browser that had a password associated with it, but I learned early on that if I entered the wrong password it would connect me to the internet, just not let me use the browser, but I could then boot up Internet Explorer and do just fine. This also served to hide my browsing history from my mom because she didn't realize there was another internet browser I could use. So I'd get home from school around 3:30 and she didn't get off work until 5. But being a 45-minute drive away without traffic and then driving home in the middle of rush hour, I was guaranteed good until at least 6 p.m. So I'd get home, call my mom to let her know I was home safe, then boot up the desktop and pull my trick and get online. At 6 p.m. I'd close everything out and shut the desktop down, then go sit on the couch and do any non-internet homework I had. Mom'd get home and let me into the MSN browser, and I'd do my internet-related homework and then finish my non-internet homework and then spend what little time I had left finishing up anything I didn't get to earlier. I did this through all 4 years of high school, including the summers where the rule was I wasn't allowed to use the internet until she got home from work. Again, just connect all day, shut it off at 6. She gets home and lets me on for a few hours before my mandated bedtime, and she's none the wiser for it. She never found out, and I never told her. I wasn't doing anything bad. I just wanted more time to hang around the few places online I was comfortable back then, and I always thought a limit of 2 hours was extremely unreasonable. Please drop down your stories in the comments. I would love to make videos on them too. And also don't forget to like and subscribe.